Hello and welcome everybody to our very last People to People live broadcast for the year. My name's Erin Devlin. I'm the Managing Director of People to People here in Victoria, and I am delighted to welcome you. I'm on the land of the Wurundjeri people here in Victoria and would like to pay my respects to elders past and present. Today, we are looking at workforce trends that shape 2024 and some of the trends that we can expect to see in 2025. So the talent dynamics, and we are joined today, I'm super excited about this because we are joined today by the Head of Advocacy and Policy at the RCSA, the Recruitment Consulting and Staffing Association, Brooke Lord, who is going to help us explore the defining employment and labour trends of 2024 and highlight the industries poised to drive business confidence improvements in 2025. We'll look at what lies ahead for hiring and talent in the year to come. We've also got on today's show some jobs for you and some data. So we're going to look at how many Australians are currently happy in their jobs, hot jobs across Australia, and for working holiday makers in New Zealand, the UK and Australia. And we'll look at some social media insights on how committed are employers to actually upholding workplace diversity initiatives. So we're going to start with our stat of the week. Okay, our stat of the week is that only 55% of Australians are happy in their jobs. This is coming out of the SEEK Workplace Happiness Index report, which was released recently, and it looks at what makes Australian workers happy and how employers can build a happier and more productive workplace. SEEK surveyed over 2,000 individuals across Australia and New Zealand, and unfortunately, we had that stat come out that only 55% are feeling happy at work. So the top drivers that were shown from the data was purpose at work, supportive managers, and day-to-day responsibilities. Factors that also influenced was the location. So workers, employees were actually the happiest with location at 65%, followed by work-life balance at 61%. But some of the factors that had detracted from that was stress levels at 41%, so that's quite high, career progression at 37% not being there within their organisation, and then 35% were unhappy with ESG initiatives. So some good ideas for employers there as to how to shape your work environment to be more conducive to happiness. We also saw that South Australia, congrats, you were the happiest workplace at 67% of respondents were happy in South Australia with their workplace, while WA was the lowest at 46%. Now, if we look at the generational differences, we can see from the data that Gen Z reported being more focused on team relationships and career progression. Millennials were focused on stress and workload being key concerns, and Gen X more so manager relationships and purpose being critical. And then we look at baby boomers reporting that a strong emphasis on purpose and organisational values was the most important to them. Okay, we're going to look at hot jobs now, starting with our temp and contract job spotlighted. Our first job up is a retail assistant position in Doncaster, and that is Nicole Constantine that you can reach out to there in Victoria. We have another hot job as well in the legal field, so that is a legal assistant. Matt Galla is your consultant there to reach out to. His contact details are on the screen. Certainly some demand for legal assistants in Melbourne and around the country at the moment, so do reach out. In terms of working holiday hot jobs, let's have a look. Okay, we have an audit senior manager in London. We have a shipping coordinator also in London. And in New Zealand, in Wellington, we have a planning manager position. So a few perm and temp there of the many that we have available. Okay, Brooke, well, this is definitely the part that I am most excited about today, and that is to have you as our guest. So Brooke Lord, Head of Policy and Advocacy at the RCSA. Very excited to have you here. We would love to look just a little bit about, look at the trends from 2024. So what were some of the key focus areas for RCSA in 2024 and the key trends?
Well, for RCSA and our members, Erin, first can I say thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. It's very exciting. I guess I'm starting off a lot of these conversations now with a word of reassurance for everybody in our industry. It's been a tough year. I think there's no beating around the bush. People are feeling it. We're getting mixed reports from our members around, it can be a little bit patchy. I think it's worse in some of the major cities, in Melbourne, in Sydney. Some of the other ones are faring a little better. But the data's not bleak. I think in terms of the jobs market, we've seen vacancies decline a little bit. The decline, I think, about 5% between May and August this year. But if you look at the sort of peaks we saw in 22, we've seen a 30% drop off. It's an interesting dynamic. In terms of our focus and priority for RCSA this year, we have been working with our members to try and help flex hustle muscles, if you like. There's lots of learning and development opportunities that we've been targeting to the areas people are telling us are a real challenge in our industry, and making sure that we are getting bespoke training exactly where it's needed so that everybody can sort of respond to the market conditions. In addition, we have been bunkering down very hard in my patch to ensure that our members are across the changes in loopholes and making sure they're adjusting accordingly so they're not caught out now they've taken effect at the end of August.
Yeah, absolutely, Brooke. And a lot of that flows on to our candidates and our clients, many of which would be watching this live as well. And I think that, RCSA has done an amazing job of keeping recruiters really well informed, making sure all those core bits of legislation that are coming through, which, they're huge changes in our industry that flow on, affect our clients and candidates. And I know for a lot of our clients, they've certainly felt the impact in terms of the closing the loopholes bill in particular. So great work by the RCSA.
Well, thank you. And to our members as well, I have to say, this kind of complexity around employing roles in a non-permanent fashion has meant that, it's given our members, organisations like yours, an opportunity to work with the clients and help step them through, and also in many ways to help manage that process for them, take the workforce on, manage the risk, because in many ways an on-hired workforce is far better equipped to navigate these changes than direct hire arrangements. So in that sense, I think it's great that the industry is so well informed and can work to help inform their clients too.
That's it. And Brooke, I think another aspect, and I'm going a bit off script here, but I think another aspect has been, really understanding and highlighting the choice of job seekers and not having that choice taken away where, temp and contract work is actually complementary to their lifestyle or what they're doing in their life. And so having that choice and that availability for job seekers, and and ease for employers to be able to offer opportunities to people has been really important and part of the work RCSA's done. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been busy.
Yes, you've been very busy this year. I know that. So, just having a look at other challenges and impacts that you've seen throughout the year. Is there anything else you wanted to mention there, or looking to 2025 as well for predicted trends?
We're sort of, if you look at the market, it's an interesting market still. I think what is different about the market at the minute is that we've seen job vacancies come off a little bit. Job vacancies have come off a little, but in addition, there's still persistent skills shortages in a number of different industries. So it's unusual historically when the economy gets a little bit wobbly. We'll find that people are moving toward on-hire, but we're still seeing people try to find skills and lock them in a number of industries, such as aged and disability care, healthcare, in industries like electricians, childcare, school teachers are still in quite good, demand. And likewise, I think construction still has quite a bit of demand as well. But in those industries where cost of living really bites. So in hospitality and some of those, services industries such as the arts, we're really seeing a decline in demand in those sectors.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. Really, I could talk to you for hours, Brooke, because you're a wealth of knowledge. But as a last question for this short segment, I would really love to know. There is talk still of skills shortages, talent shortages in certain areas. You've highlighted some of those. So with the tapering off of job vacancies reducing a little bit, candidate activity increasing, do you still see talent shortages in some of these key areas in 2025?
Look, I think the expectation is that some of them will persist for sure. We've seen some really reassuring enrolments in some of the fee-free TAFE places in care and in the health space, but there's still greater demand than what we can meet with our domestic workforce. So we're going to need to find a solution either overseas with workers coming in from offshore, or train up our own workers at home to fill the gaps because the demand is so big. But outside of those industries where we do have persistent demand, I do think maybe we're hoping for some green shoots next year, I think, economically speaking, but we'll get a better idea when we have an early budget at the start of the year. I do think, if we look at across the ditch, New Zealand is not, I think we're faring better than New Zealand. I think the resources sector helps him, give us a little bit of buoyancy on that front. But I do still think there's some choppy waters ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Brooke. I think some good advice for our job seekers is to really have a look at what are those in-demand areas, roles and skills. We certainly know that candidates developing and utilising AI really effectively is becoming an in-demand skill across lots of different industries where that is applicable. But there's certainly pockets of talent shortages, and that bodes well if you're looking for a job. So have a look at that.
We've seen our unemployment rate at the moment has remained steady. So we're seeing an economy that is a little bit unpredictable, but the demand for workforce is still there. The jobs are available and people are looking for them. And exactly right. I think AI isn't going to replace jobs. I think someone who knows how to use AI effectively may well be the one that, takes the job. So there's plenty of opportunity out there for people.
Yeah, beautiful. Some very nice words of encouragement. Thank you so much, Brooke, for joining us. Really been lovely to have you on our live today.
Thanks for having me, Erin. My pleasure.
Okay, we're going to go to our social media poll. Is your employer all talk and no action with workplace diversity? We put this out last week and we had 53% of respondents were actually saying that their employer, they have got the action behind it. So that's great to see. 46.2% of respondents said their employer it's a little bit lip service around workplace diversity. So let's look to the companies that are doing it really well, putting some action behind their words. That is it for this week. We are going to have our next live for next year in mid-February. So please have a wonderful holiday break if you are taking a break. And if you're not, we hope that you still get to enjoy some of the festive season with family and friends. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you back mid-Feb 2025.